In this section, we're going to continue solving the equation but using the distributive property. So when you distribute, you're going to be multiplying. So in our first example, we have 2 parenthesis a plus 3 close parenthesis equals to negative 12. So when you see a number directly in front of the parenthesis, nothing in between, that means that you're going to distribute. So when you have something like that, all you have to do is just distribute to everything inside the parenthesis. So 2 times a, which is 2a, 2 times positive 3, which would be plus 6, equal negative 12. Now, it just looks very similar to the two-step equation we did before. We want the 2a to be by itself, but it has a plus 6. So the opposite of plus 6 is minus 6. So I did it on the left, I'm going to do it on the right. I bring down the 2a equal negative 12 minus 6 would be negative 18. Now, we're close to getting the variable by itself. We have 2a. 2 is in front of a, so it's multiplying. The opposite of multiplying by 2 is divide by 2. Since I did it on the left, I can do it on the right, divide by 2. So I'm left with a equal negative 18 divided by 2 will be a whole number, which would be negative 9. So this will be our final answer. So for this example, 2 times a plus 3 equals to negative 12. The final answer is a equals negative 9. In our second example, we have a negative of 3m squared plus 5m minus 12. Now, it doesn't have an equal sign, nor does not equal to a number, so technically this is not an equation. So it's simply an expression. So when you have something like this, all I have to do is just to simplify. So simplifying means that do we distribute anything? Do we combine like terms? Anything. So in here, we have a negative outside the parenthesis directly in front of the parenthesis. So just like before, we're going to distribute a negative to everything inside. So negative times 3m squared will be negative 3m squared. Negative to the 5m will be negative 5m. Negative times negative 12 or minus 12 would be positive 12. And then we check if there's any like terms. Now here, m squared and m are two different terms. So we cannot combine them. So we're just going to leave it separate like this. So our final answer is negative 3m squared minus 5m plus 12. So this is all you have to do when you're simplifying expressions. Okay, now we have our third example. 2/3 of 6x minus 9 equals to negative 34. This one is an equation because it has an equal sign and it equals to a number. So, just like in the previous example, we're going to solve by using the distributive part. We're going to distribute 2/3 to everything inside the parenthesis because the 2/3 is directly in front of the parenthesis. That's how we know we're going to distribute. So when we're distributing, I'm going to write this step by step. It's going to be, we're going to multiply to the numerator. So 2 times 6x over 3. Since that's minus, I'm going to put minus right here. 2 times 9 over 3 equal negative 34. So that's what happened when we distribute the 2/3. Anything that's inside, you just multiply to the numerator if it's a whole number. If it's a fraction, you multiply straight across. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. But in this case, 2/3, just multiply to the numerator. So 2 times 6x, that would be 12x. And it still have the 3 in the denominator, minus 2 times 9, which is 18, still at the 3, equal negative 34. So we can simplify this because 12 can be divided by 3 into a whole number, which is 4x minus, same thing with the 18, it can be divided by 3 into a whole number, which is 6, and it equals to negative 34. So I'm going to write it over here since we ran out of room. So 4x minus 6 equals negative 34. Now I wrote all this out step by step so that it'd be easy to understand the process. So moving to the point where we stop, 4x minus 6 equals negative 34. We want to get the 4x to be by itself, but it has a minus 6, so the opposite of minus 6 is plus 6. So I do it on the left and on the right. Bring down the 4x. Negative 34 plus 6, since it's opposite sign, the bigger number is negative, so it's going to be negative. Subtract the numbers, so it'll be 28. So negative 34 plus 6 is negative 28. Now we're almost finished getting the x by itself. Since we have a 4 in front of it, it's multiplying. The opposite of multiplying by 4, we're going to divide by 4. I did it on the left, I did it on the right. So x equal negative 28 divided by 4 will be in a whole number, which is negative 7. So that would be our final answer. So for the example, 2/3 of 6x minus 9 equals negative 34, our final answer is x equals negative 7. Alright, in this example we have 3/4 of 5x plus 8 minus 3x. Now it's not an equation because it doesn't have an equal sign, nor does it equal to anything. So we're just going to do the same process as before. 3/4 in front of the parentheses, so we're going to distribute. And I'm just going to write it step by step to visually show the process. So when it's 3/4 times a whole number, is this basically going to multiply to the numerator, the top. So 3 times 5x over 4. Since it's positive, I'm going to write plus. So 3 times 8 over 4. And then I bring down to minus 3x. Alright, so again, when I distributed 3/4, all I did was multiply to the numerator. So the 3 and the 5x multiply, and we still have the 4 as the denominator. And then the 3 multiplied with the 8, and it's still over the denominator. And I didn't do anything to the minus 3x because it was outside the parenthesis. So let's simplify the top. So 3 times 5x, that's going to be 15x over 4 plus 3 times 8 would be 24 over 4 minus 3x. So looking at this one, the 15x over 4, there's nothing in common, I can't simplify that. So I'm just going to leave as 15x over 4. But the 24 over 4, 24 can be divided by 4 into a whole number, so I can simplify that. So I'm going to write 15x over 4. 24 divided by 4 is just 6. And then minus 3x. Alright, now, combine like terms, we have x here and we have x there. So we have to combine those two because they both have x's. Now, we have a fraction and we have a whole number. So in order to combine them, they need to be both be fraction. So what we're going to do, we're going to change this into a fraction. So we're going to put a 1 underneath it. Next is we need to get the 1 to be the same as 4. So we're going to multiply by 4 on the bottom. Since we multiply by 4 on the bottom, we're going to do it on the top. So we're going to rewrite it. It's going to be 15x over 4 plus 6 minus, so we're going to multiply top and bottom by 4, so it's going to be 12x over 4. So next we combine these two fractions together, so it's going to be 15x over 4 minus 12x over 4 plus 6. So 15x over 4 minus 12x, all we have to do is just combine the top. So 15x minus 12x, that's going to be 3x over 4. And we can't simplify that because there's 9 in common between 3 and 4, so we just leave it like that. And then bring down the plus 6. So there's nothing else we can do in that expression. We can't combine the terms, we can't simplify it. So we just leave it like this. So for the example 3/4 of 5x plus 8 minus 3x, the final answer is 3x over 4 plus 6.